tax cut. Tonight, what the Bush plan might mean for you. The leader of the Texas 7 says he deserves to die for murdering a police officer. And the stadium name game. The stakes are a mile high.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. A concerned but no panic assessment of the U.S. economy today from the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Alan Greenspan said the once booming economy now has slowed to the point that it may have stopped growing. And for the first time, Greenspan gave his blessing to the idea of cutting taxes, at least some, to try to stimulate the economy. Greenspan did not endorse the big Bush tax cut plan, wouldn't even comment on it. But the White House is delighted Greenspan is giving even a qualified green light to any tax cut at all. CBS's Anthony Mason begins our coverage.
The chief mechanic of the once roaring American economy hit Capitol Hill today.
Hearing will please come to order.
And Alan Greenspan admitted the engine has suddenly stalled.
We have had a very dramatic slowing down. And indeed, we are probably very close to zero at this particular moment.
Translation, we're flirting with recession. Then the Fed chairman did a surprising turnaround on tax cuts. Budget surpluses are growing so fast, he said, we can both eliminate the federal deficit and trim taxes.
It is far better, in my judgment, that the surpluses be lowered by tax reductions than by spending increases.
Some took that as an endorsement for President Bush's $1.6 trillion tax cut proposal. But Greenspan warned that tax relief may be little help for the economy's current troubles.
You cannot expect tax cuts to do all that much.
And many economists agree the effect of a tax cut will kick in too late to reverse this slowdown.
Tax cuts will give the economy the boost. The problem is speed. You know, Alan Greenspan the other day lowered interest rates after a 2-hour telephone call. You don't exactly do that in the United States Congress.
Meanwhile, the economy showed more signs of weakness. JCPenney said it will close 47 stores and lay off 5,500 workers. Sara Lee will cut 7,000 jobs worldwide, and the theater chain AMC announced it will shut 500 movie screens. So Senator Paul Sarbanes asked directly.
I take it interest rates will be reduced further next week?
The Federal Open Market Committee is meeting next week, and I'm looking forward to see what my colleagues are thinking about.
The ever-inscrutable Fed chairman. Still, many economists believe Greenspan's admission the economy has stalled ensures we will get a rate cut next week. The only question now is just how much of one. Dan?
Anthony Mason, thanks. Well, Chairman Greenspan did not say how much of a tax cut he would support. But CBS's John Roberts at the White House can tell you more tonight about what President Bush has in mind and what it might mean for you.
George Bush was careful not to gloat today, but there was no question he'd just gotten a huge boost for his tax cut agenda.
I was pleased to hear Mr. Greenspan's words. I thought they were measured and just right.
Even though the Fed chairman didn't sign on to the size of Mr. Bush's proposal, $1.6 trillion, the president took his words as a signal from on high that he could begin slashing tax rates.
He recognizes that we need good monetary policy and sound fiscal policy to make sure that the economy grows.
Under the Bush plan, a family of 4 making $30,000 would save about $700, $50,000, $1,900. And at $140,000, the tax break is more than $5,000.
And almost half of it would go to the wealthiest 1%.
The tax cut was roundly criticized during the election campaign for catering to the rich. One analysis calculated the average give back for the top 1% of earners at $46,000, while another found a single mother of 2 with an income of $22,000 would get nothing back.
So the total cost of the Bush tax plan is $2.2 trillion.
Democrats who advocate smaller, targeted tax cuts today whipped out charts and graphs, drawing battle lines over Bush's tax plan, fearing Greenspan's years of fiscal discipline may have just come to an end.
And I think the chairman, as much as I respect him and almost revere him, made a mistake today in what he said.
Greenspan implored lawmakers to take steps to suspend a tax cut if it appears that the surplus won't meet projections, and he warned If the White House and Congress continue the spending spree they went on last year, there won't be much money left to do anything. Dan?
John Roberts. There are developments tonight on another controversy facing the new president and Congress. Opponents of John Ashcroft are raising more questions about whether he can be trusted as Attorney General to fully enforce laws protecting civil rights. CBS's Bob Schieffer is tracking what, if any, impact this may have on Ashcroft's confirmation by the Senate.
James Hormel, who became America's first openly gay ambassador over the objection of then Senator Ashcroft, today joined a group of civil rights activists who oppose Ashcroft's nomination to be Attorney General. During confirmation hearings, Ashcroft had said he wasn't against Hormel because he was gay, but because...
Frankly, I had known Mr. Hormel for a long time. He had recruited me when I was a student in college to go to the University of Chicago Law School.
Based on that, Ashcroft said,
I made a judgment that it would be ill-advised to make him ambassador based on the totality of the record.
Today, Hormel said, not quite.
I cannot recall ever in my life having a conversation with Mr. Ashcroft. I have had absolutely no contact with him in almost 34 years since he left the University of Chicago Law School.
During the confirmation hearings, Ashcroft assured Democrats he had never discriminated against gays when hiring staffers, nor would he.
I would still not consider sexual orientation in hiring at the Department of Justice because I don't believe it relevant.
That, too, was questioned today, as first reported by the Washington Post. A policy expert named Paul Offner said when he applied for a job within Missouri Governor John Ashcroft in 1985.
He said to me, my first question, Mr. Offner, do you have the same sexual preference as most men? And I said that I thought I did.
Ashcroft denies the allegation, but Offner, now married, didn't get the job. That alone is hardly enough to keep Ashcroft from being confirmed, but it does show the intensity of the opposition and demonstrates again how these opponents are going to fight this nomination to the very end. Dan.
Bob Schieffer on Capitol Hill. Critics of former President Clinton are going beyond the very end. They're raising new questions about one of the end-of-term pardons President Clinton granted. CBS's Jim Axelrod is looking into the case of fugitive financier Mark Rich and the circumstances that led to his pardon.
Exiting the White House, Bill Clinton left the door wide open for critics not ready to let go. Among his last acts, he pardoned billionaire fugitive Mark Rich. A man who never stood trial is now cleared for crimes that could have meant 300 years in prison. That's Rich's ex-wife Denise hugging and kissing the Clintons. She's a New York socialite who's donated more than $1 million to Democrats.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you for everything you've done to make it possible for Hillary and me to serve.
At first, Denise Rich said she had nothing to do with it, but then admitted writing the president as a friend, urging a pardon.
From FDR to present, I don't know of another case that is quite as transparent as this in terms of campaign contributions.
Mark Rich fled to Switzerland 17 years ago, indicted for tax fraud and trading with the enemy, making oil deals with Iran during the hostage crisis. Rich's lawyer was former White House counsel Jack Quinn, who took the pardon case directly to his old boss.
I was able to persuade the president and other people that this was a lousy case and that the only person who could do justice here was the president. Now, anyone who says this was wired or this was political is quite simply making it up.
New York's Republican Mayor Rudy Giuliani led the prosecution then. He wants Congress to investigate now.
Unlike the usual situation of a pardon where the person's paid his dues to society, Mark Rich hasn't paid any dues in terms of the criminal justice system. So it was very shocking, and there doesn't appear to be any explanation for it that would fit a reason why you'd give a pardon.
But it's not just Republicans who don't like it. Listen to Tom Daschle, the Democrats' leader in the Senate.
I disagree with the pardon of Mr. Rich. I think it was inappropriate.
Tonight, while politicians and lawyers are criticizing and defending, historians are making their own judgment.
For a man who wants to change his legacy, this didn't help very much.
Congress can hold hearings, investigate, even try to amend the president's constitutional power to pardon. But one thing Congress can't do, Congress can't revoke Bill Clinton's pardon of Mark Rich. Dan?
Jim Axelrod, thanks. Two political watchdog groups say a longtime corporate contributor to President Bush is reaping huge profits off the current energy shortages, especially with the new president's outright rejection of any price controls. Houston-based Enron Corporation is North America's largest electricity wholesaler and owner of natural gas pipelines. It gave almost $114,000 at least to the Bush presidential campaign and $550,000 total, at least, to help bankroll the GOP National Convention and the inauguration. Enron's chief executive is on the Bush Energy Transition Team. The company says President Bush is, quote, for states' rights and deregulation. He doesn't need anyone to suggest that to him, unquote. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, the ringleader of the Texas Killer 7 admits he is a cop killer. And later, U.S. Marines, abandoned and left behind on the battlefield, now forgotten heroes.
Why are people tossing their yellow pages? There's something better. Switchboard.com, a free directory powered by the internet. It's business listings, it's people search, it's maps and directions. It's faster, and it's a smarter way to find everything in your town and places your yellow pages doesn't cover. Don't take our word for it. Listen to your neighbors. Switchboard.com. Think outside the book.
If today's stock markets have you looking for the stability of a money fund, choose the one ranked #1, the Strong Investors Money Fund. Call 1-888-4STRONG. You're one call away from a strong portfolio.
Think Mom and Dad are having any fun? Why? They're just lying around doing nothing. Last night they had dinner for 2 boring hours. And this morning they were out on our balcony just staring at the water. We better do something. Yeah. It's worse than we thought. Come on! Wendy, they'll thank us for this.
Disney Cruise Line. Come, discover uncharted magic.
Need extra cash? Don't charge it on your credit cards. Get a second mortgage with no closing costs from Ditech.com. With a second mortgage, you can consolidate all your existing high-interest debts, get the cash you need for any purpose, and end up with one lower monthly payment. A second mortgage with no closing cost is smart money from Ditech.com. Log on now for fast online approval or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED.
Last flu season, doctors turned to new prescription medicines to help fight the flu. And the one they turned to most was Tamiflu, the #1 doctor-prescribed flu treatment. Tamiflu goes right to the very cause of the flu, attacking the flu virus itself. Don't delay. As soon as your symptoms start, coughing, fever, chills, and body aches, visit your doctor.
Hello, I need to see the doctor.
And ask if Tamiflu is right for you, so you can start feeling better, faster. 1 out of 10 may experience mild to moderate nausea or vomiting. Fewer may experience bronchitis, sleeplessness, or dizziness. When it's flu, doctors write Tamiflu more than any other prescription.
The 6 survivors of the Texas 7 in custody now in Colorado face extradition to the Lone Star State, and if prosecutors get their way, to cells on death row. But as CBS's Maureen Maher reports, today a remarkable confession suggested that the gang's leader wants exactly that.
After sticking together for 5 weeks, 2 of the Texas 7 are taking separate approaches to their defense. Escapee Michael Rodriguez will fight extradition, but ringleader George Rivas, with newly dyed hair and a beard, told a Colorado judge he will return to Texas against the advice of his own attorney.
He's going back to a state that has an insatiable appetite for the death penalty, and I want to protect him and protect his rights.
Once described as desperate and dangerous, Rivas says he deserves to die for the murder of Texas police officer Aubrey Hawkins. In an interview with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, Rivas said, quote, "I'm guilty. I'm prepared for it. It's what I deserve." Rivas told reporter Darren Barbie that he believes he fired the shots in the parking lot of the Dallas Sporting Goods store that fatally wounded Officer Hawkins.
He said it was a relief when he was captured. I don't know if that's repentance or if that's remorse, but he said that he was relieved that he was captured, that the death of Officer Hawkins had been weighing on his mind.
Rivas also said he was accidentally wounded during the shootout by another escapee, using one of 60-some stolen weapons that law enforcement officials showed off today.
We took the risks, and everything worked out the way it was planned.
Eventually, authorities plan to have all of the escapees sent back. For now, the man who planned the prison break will be the first to face the price for his temporary freedom. Late today, the governor of Texas signed extradition papers for George Rivas, clearing the way for him to be sent back as soon as possible. Dan?
Maureen Maher in Cripple Creek, Colorado. A jury in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, today found a 13-year-old boy guilty of the first-degree murder of a 6-year-old girl. The defense had produced this video reenactment to back its claim that Lionel Tate was imitating professional wrestling moves from television and accidentally killed family friend Tiffany Unick. The jury didn't buy it. Tate, tried as an adult, could be sentenced to life in prison. Coming up, their names are last on the Vietnam War Memorial, Forgotten Heroes. Now, a CBS investigation remembers.
At Enterprise Rent-A-Car, when you call us, we don't just pick up the phone. We pick you up.
This is great.
Thank you. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
What will I be like a year from now? How much will I grow? How strong will I be? In 5 years? In 10 years? Where does my future start? You'd be surprised.
When your eyes feel dry, gritty, irritated, protect them with Refresh brand eye drops. First, Refresh relieves dryness. Then Refresh forms a lasting shield of protection that keeps irritation out and moisture in. Refresh. It relieves and protects.
Welcome to a hot spot where pain and discomfort dwell. It's down at the end of Astor Street, the Heartburn Hotel. Well, your stomach's a burning, baby. The acids are churning, baby. You're feeling heartburn all the time. Well, you change the way you're eating. You're getting exercise. You're treated for 2 days a week or more. The acids start to rise.
Prescription Prevacid can mean 24-hour relief from acid reflux disease. Prevacid turns off tiny pumps that produce acid. It has a low occurrence of side effects, such as diarrhea, abdominal pain, and nausea. Ask your doctor if Prevacid is right for you.
So leave your heartburn behind, yeah!
For all those who have difficulty bathing, and for all those who care for them, take comfort.
Take comfort, take comfort. There's comfort bath, take comfort.
Comfort Bath. Thick as a washcloth, disposable Comfort Bath can be microwaved for a warm, soothing bath. Comfort Bath leaves skin soft and smooth.
There's comfort bath, take comfort.
Look for Comfort Bath at your drugstore.
Indoors or outdoors, you should see your best.
Right now at LensCrafters, complete pairs of prescription glasses or sunglasses are only $99 each. Why not get both? The $99 indoor-outdoor sale. Hurry, offer ends soon.
As CBS reported last night, a U.S. military recovery team is now in Southeast Asia seeking the remains of U.S. Marines killed 25 years ago on a tiny island off Cambodia. The young Marines were on what began as a rescue mission, but faulty intelligence turned it into a bloodbath. Vince Gonzalez has part 2 of his investigative report on the forgotten heroes of Koh Tang Island.
They are the last names on the Vietnam War Memorial. 15 men who died in a battle waged weeks after the war had ended. Killed on the beaches of Koh Tang during an attempt to rescue the crew of a captured American merchant ship, the SS Mayaguez. Remains are still being recovered on this Cambodian island and returned home for a proper burial. But nothing can put to rest the fear that 3 Marines who didn't make it out alive may have been alive when the last U.S. helicopter took off from Koh Tang Island.
That's the worst possible scenario I could think of.
Jim Davis was the last officer on the island. In these battlefield radio tapes obtained by CBS News, Davis can be heard as U.S. forces pulled out under heavy fire.
What can you do for us, over? We're coming, man. We're coming. How many people are you going to have left? I just don't know. It's dark out here. I don't know who's going and who's here. I'm going to just have to do the best I can.
A short time later, Davis got all his men out, and he'd been assured other units were off the island.
Captain Davis advises that all Marines are off the island. Okay, outstanding. That's exactly what we're looking for.
But he wasn't told 3 Marines from another unit were missing: Gary Hall, Danny Marshall, and Joseph Hargrove. Davis volunteered to go back. Request denied.
If there would have been any inkling that they were still alive, we would have returned. There would have been no doubt.
Even though the Pentagon concluded the Marines were killed in action, CBS News has learned that right after the battle, military investigators talked to 4 Marines who saw one of the men alive on the beach just 10 minutes before the last helicopter took off.
You take your ground fire, or are you putting down
And from the crew of that helicopter, more evidence men were left behind alive. And since the 1980s, the military has collected numerous reports from Cambodians describing Marines who survived for days or weeks before being captured, executed, and buried. Some describe 3 Americans killed in a firefight.
I was the last commander on the island. So regardless of who those Marines belonged to, I still share the guilt of those missing Marines. Think about it every night.
So does Gail Hargrove, who lost her husband, Joseph.
You know, you think, well, hopefully he's alive. And then I just decided the best thing to do was pray him to heaven.
She'd been married to him for only 33 days before he was sent into battle. She's been grieving for 25 years.
Everything you want is right there. And then all of a sudden you open your eyes and boom, just like a snap of a finger, everything you got's taken away.
Recently, the widow and the officer met for the first time as the remains of an Air Force pilot, another casualty of the Mayaguez incident, were buried.
We are very glad to welcome Lieutenant Richard Vandegeer home at last.
After the ceremony, Gail Hargrove had comforting words for Jim Davis.
And if you're losing any sleep over my husband, don't, because he's in heaven.
They have a special bond, the agony felt by those who carry the memory of men whose fate is unknown. Vince Gonzalez, CBS News, Arlington National Cemetery.
If you have high blood pressure, you know all these cold medicines warn you not to take them. So take their advice. Don't take them. Take decongestant-free Coricidin HBP. Powerful relief that won't raise your blood pressure.
Don't get that, Frank.
Hello? Baxter!
Meow, 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 meow.
4 delicious flavors make Meow Mix taste so good. Cats ask for it by name.
Meow, meow, meow.
It's Baxter!
Indoors or outdoors, you should see your best.
Right now at Lens Crafters, complete pairs of prescription glasses or sunglasses are only $99 each. Why not get both? The $99 indoor-outdoor sale. Hurry, offer ends soon.
I may look young, but I'd still suffer from hot flashes. I discovered a natural way to deal with it. Healthy Woman, from the makers of Monistat. Healthy Woman's a soy menopause supplement that helps relieve hot flashes and night sweats. Healthy Woman.
Dad,
Uh-huh.
why do you shave?
Well, because I don't want a beard.
Why do you wear a tie?
That's easy, because I have to.
Dad, why do you always eat Cheerios?
Because Daddy's cholesterol's kind of high.
And a study shows the whole grain oats in Cheerios can help lower cholesterol when part of a low-fat diet.
Why do you have high cholesterol?
Oh, because Daddy used to eat not such good things before he met Mommy.
Daddy?
The one and only Cheerios.
Most people don't know that in the last 10 years that Gateway's helped a million small businesses. True economic growth comes from those small businesses. They're the ones making it happen. Gateway's always been about the direct relationship with our customers. We're local. We have people right there who can help you with your business solutions. Over the next few months, we're going to show you what happens when small businesses get the power they deserve.
Rumble and Browns,
spread the joy around. You're one of a kind, no other will do. Yogurt's goodness dancing through you. Creamy, dreamy, Brummel and Brown, or creamy fruit spreads, the talk of the town. Brummel and Brown, spread the joy around.
Brummel and Brown, instead of butter and margarine or creamy fruit spreads. Brummel and Brown, the only spreads blended with yogurt.
Coming up on Coin 6 News at 6, do you drive over one of Oregon's most dangerous railroad crossings? We'll show you the ones to watch out for on Coin 6 News at 6.
We close tonight with a reminder that it's been said that a good name is better than riches. But some American companies turn that thought on its head by paying millions to slap corporate names on sports stadiums. And as CBS's Cynthia Bowers reports, the results can be downright puzzling.
When Super Bowl 35 kicks off this Sunday, all eyes will be on Raymond James Stadium, which raises the question, who the heck is Raymond James?
He's a good man, whoever he was, to build something as nice as this.
He is an investment company with no real ties to football, other than paying tens of millions of dollars to put its name atop the field. All across the country, legacies are giving way to logos. It's a trend many find irritating and inexplicable.
If I'm running a corporation, this is the last thing I do, because about 28 of the last 51 corporations that have slapped their name on stadiums or started a new stadium, put PSI Net Stadium or Network Associates Stadium, they're all going right down the tubes.
That would be Baltimore's PSI Net Stadium, whose company logo may be on the scoreboard, but whose stock value is far from super. Or Miami's Pro Player and St. Louis's TWA Dome, both companies now bankrupt. And the clock could run out on legendary names like Soldier Field, Fenway Park, Mile High Stadium. Or maybe not. In Denver, a team of underdogs is making a valiant goal line stand, trying to turn back a $60 million offer and keep the old name on the new stadium.
The people are paying for by the large majority of the stadium, and they want the name Mile High.
It's not just sports arenas getting slapped with corporate logos these days. The lucrative name game is moving far afield as an increasing number of cash-strapped communities look for ways to put private money into public projects. In Boston, they want to sell naming rights to subway stops. In Virginia, to stretches of highway.
What's next? We're going to visit the Statue of Liberty Mutual? Are your kids going to go to school at PS Century 21?
Or will the Denver message be heard? Just because something has value doesn't always mean it's for sale. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News at what's still Mile High Stadium.
And that's part of our world tonight. I'll be back with a very good 48 hours tonight. Peter Van Sant gives you a preview.
A heartbreaking internet adoption scam. Dozens of couples were promised babies.
The baby's not coming home.
There were no babies.
This is something that is so evil.
Cybercrime, tonight on 48 Hours.
48 Hours tonight at 10, 9 Central. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. See you soon on 48 Hours.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the Internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Who's getting the money from those big energy rate hikes? Tomorrow, experience CBS News.
With Shirley Hancock and Mike Donahue. This is Coin 6 News at 6.
Is it the work of one man or two? In the last